first round of Nigeria Info's I Beg to Differ debate Tournament of Champions is over, and the new week offers more twists and turns. Here are the fixtures for Monday. At 3 p.m., Omar Benedi Excel will meet Itomi Bernard Samuel on the topic. Should drug trafficking and abuse be addressed primarily through stricter law enforcement measures or through public health approaches? And at 4 o'clock, Mary Ashia and Adio Afolarin will debate the topic. Should Nigeria prioritize economic growth over climate change initiatives? And at 5 p.m., Adepetu Adenike and Akilo Sale Charles will face off on the topic. Should content creators be held to the same ethical standards as traditional media? Judges will save one loser on Monday. I am Yvonne Okhaifo. Join Femi, Obong-Daniels and me as we discover the wild card. I Beg to Differ Tournament of Champions. 16 debaters, now 12. One winner, 2 million naira. Supported by Chrisland Schools, Olaiya Foods, Obiwizi, Call to Fly and Biloxi. For sponsorship, send an email to info@nigeriainfo.fm. I Beg to Differ, a Tournament of Champions.
Welcome back. It's the second hour of debates. Nigeria Info's I Beg to Differ National Tournament of Champions. Some of the brightest minds representing 3 critical regions of the country. They qualified to be here. They've earned their spot at the table. And whatever happens today, they can all be proud. As we get set for today's debate, we're hoping that we'll be joined by Judge Ama Ekove. I haven't yet introduced her today.
Oh, she is. She's here.
She is here.
Yes, she is.
Judge Ama Basi Ekove is a program officer at the Budget Foundation. Also, a quick reminder, Judge Elizabeth Michael, broadcast professional learning experience designer. Chief Judge Dr. Badiche, head of the Department of Communication, Media and Cultural Studies at the Pan Atlantic University, Lagos. And of course, Judge Ufoma Egbamuno, who's the news manager, Cool FM, Wazobia FM, Nigeria Info. Okay. Special thanks to all our sponsors. Our host institution is Green Spring.
Chrisland Schools.
Good Lord, pardon me.
Chrisland Schools.
Chrisland Schools. How did that happen? All right.
We're also saying thank you to our sponsor, Lesheho Microfinance Bank. Lesheho Microfinance Bank is responsible for, sponsoring us at this time. But if you'd like to join Lesheho and the other partners on the competition so far, then send an email to info@nigeriainfo.fm.
Thanks to Obiwizi for all the gadgets, not only for the winners, but you provided something for every single person.
Absolutely.
At the Tournament of Champions. We are highly appreciative. Also, special thanks to Call to Fly for helping with transporting a number of these students to the national finals in Lagos. Olaiya Foods and Catering for feeding them, as well as Biloxi for the nice treats, chocolate cookies and all. Massey Street Children's Hospital, our healthcare partner, to ensure if any of these children has any health challenges during the course of this debate. Whether they are at home or they are at school or wherever they are, free medical services, full care until if they have to be at the hospital until they leave. Thank you very much for our healthcare providers. Massey, yep, that's it. Massey Street Children's Hospital.
Correct.
Okay, you'll be hearing more about all of them. Welcome to the second hour of this debate.
The topic for this hour is: should Nigeria prioritize economic growth over climate change initiatives? Should Nigeria prioritize economic growth over climate change initiatives? Let's meet the debaters now.
And just before I introduce, just a bit of a correction. We had to correct ourselves again. The last debate was between 13-year-olds. So Samuel Etomi Bernard is actually 13. Same as they are the two 13-year-olds. The We need to update our data page. Oga Sheriff, please. Thank you very much.
We're also streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. You have to refresh your feeds to join the new live streams, okay? You have to do that.
Once we take that final break and one debate ends, we open a different live stream for the next debate. So search for the new one now. You will see our contestants. Here they are. Welcome. A 15-year-old SS3 student of Wellspring College, Lagos. She has won every single debate ever at the I Beg to Differ tournaments. She was the champion of season 6, losing to nobody. And we saw her in the first round, continuing in that fashion. Please welcome Mary Uke Ashia. Hello, Mary. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
I'm tempted to ask if you are ready for this, but I know you are always ready.
Always ready, as you said.
Good. So welcome once again. Her opponent, 15 years of age, likewise. SS3 students just as well. A student of Ikorodu Senior High School in Lagos. Well, Adio Afolarin joins this debate. Welcome, Adio Afolarin. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, sir.
Adio had a fine debate in the first round, but he lost on that occasion. But he did just enough to impress the judges to bring him back as a wild card, which is why he has to go up against the best debater of that day in round 1. Adio Afolarin has a very, very impressive record, having won 4 debates in total and lost 2. The debate is about to start. You heard the topic just a while ago. Yvonne will do the process again, and we'll find out who is opposing and who is supporting.
I know you look confused. You picked your sides last week. Now we will confirm what side you will argue and what side she will argue. Let's start with you, gentleman.
I'm opposing the motion.
You are opposing the motion, so Mary Uke Ashia will support the motion. Here is the motion, Nigeria. Should drug trafficking and abuse, should Nigeria prioritize economic growth over climate change initiatives? So Mary would say, yes, Nigeria should prioritize economic growth over climate change. And he will say, no, Nigeria should prioritize climate change over economic growth. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Good. Well, then we will start with the motion supporter, Mary Uke Ashia. Mary, you have 3 minutes to open your argument.
What key indicators determine the strategic planning framework of a government? Simple: economic and social impact and strategic national security. Adjudicators, moderator, my fellow debater, and the audience. First, policies that boost economic growth provide a more comprehensive solution to Nigeria's challenges than climate change initiatives. Subsidy is gone, it was declared. Things fell apart. That could almost not hold that mere anarchy was loose during the End Bad Governance protest. To sovereign Nigerians, a growing economy is a growing nation. Also, rapid response, high impact. Actions like adjusting monetary policy and offering tax incentives require urgent responses to seize immediate opportunities, stabilize the economy, and boost investment, contrasting with long-term climate initiatives. With this, Nigeria can leverage short-term opportunities crucial for recovery and stability. Next, Nigeria's lower vulnerability to environmental disasters. The Global Climate Risk Index ranks Nigeria lower than 10 African countries based on severity and frequency of extreme weather disasters. Why then should climate change be Nigeria's priority, considering the plethora of challenges that hinge on economic development? Moving on, right to development. Developing nations like Nigeria should pursue economic growth to some environmental traders and industrialized nations. They impose environmental standards now is unjustifiable. The UNDP and World Bank says that alliance of environmental impact is crucial for equitable opportunities and development. Economic stability as a fundamental right. Nigeria's 33.3% unemployment rate and 40% poverty, as reported by the World Bank, highlight the urgent need for conditions that allow citizens to work and support their families. Prioritizing economic growth reduces poverty and fulfills the government duty to ensure economic security. Moreover, prioritizing economic growth addresses environmental issues hindering development. For example, the World Bank reports that Nigeria's energy sector generates only 4,000 MW of its 12,500 MW capacity. Economic investments in cleaner energy and environmental management can lead to sustainable development. Also, Nigeria's minimal carbon footprint. Nigeria contributes just 0.4% to global carbon emissions compared to major emitters like China and the US. Even if Nigeria cuts down 100% of its carbon footprint, it will hardly affect global carbon emissions. Prioritizing economic growth addresses pressing local challenges and hardly affects climate change. Next, boosting economic growth through climate initiatives. Where Nigeria must invest in environmental measures like reforestation and afforestation, it should be targeted at generating and selling carbon credits, as seen in the 2023 $50 million joint venture between Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority and VITO, providing financial incentives to be reinvested in viable startups. Next, resisting neo-colonialist pressures is vital for Nigeria's sovereignty. Developing nations often impose climate policies that do not align with countries' needs, despite contributing less than 1% to global carbon emissions. Prioritizing climate change initiatives is playing by the neo-colonialist rulebook and losing our sovereignty. Additionally, solving Nigeria's resource paradox. Heavy reliance on oil revenue limits public accountability and oversight. Nigeria should limit public accountability and oversight. Finally, repositioning for comparative advantage. Leveraging and balancing natural resources for economic growth with other sources is key. Nigeria can focus on areas of comparative advantage like resource extraction and investing in processing that reduces in trade imbalance and reduces heavy reliance on costly imports. Next, solving Nigeria's resource paradox. Heavy reliance on oil revenue limits public oversight and accountability. With all contributing 40% to the federal income, there's minimal local participation. Prioritizing economic growth could drive citizen-centric revenue systems such as taxation that boost engagement in governance. Thank you.
Right on time.
We'll now move on to our opponent for his opening round, his presentation round, is 15-year-old Adio Afolarin.
Well, Adio will now get 3 minutes. Your time starts now.
If you think the environment is less important than the economy, try out your breath for your country money. This was not mine, but it was organic fasting. My managers and educators, good day. From as the very reasons as to why Nigeria should not prioritize economic growth over climate change initiatives. To begin with, climate change threatens Nigerian biodiversity, affecting ecosystems that support agriculture, fishing, and tourism. The World Wildlife Fund report that climate change will drive up to 10% of species into extinction by 2050. Secondly, the financial cost of addressing climate-related damages can outweigh the short-term benefits of economic growth when climate issues are ignored. According to a report by the National Bureau of Statistics, in conjunction with the World Bank, Nigeria lost an estimated $9.12 billion due to flood in 2022. Thirdly, climate change disproportionately affects the poor. Thus, prioritizing climate change initiative is crucial for social equity and reducing economic inequality. According to the World Bank, climate change is pushing an additional 8 million Nigerians into poverty annually. At such an alarming rate, should economic growth be prioritized over climate change? I'll do that to my audience. Furthermore, ignoring climate change initiatives exacerbate health problems such as respiratory and vector-borne diseases, lead to higher healthcare costs and reduce labor productivity. According to UNICEF, the floods in the northeastern states of Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe caused a total of 7,485 cases of cholera and 390 associated deaths in 2022. To add to my point, extreme weather events caused by climate change can damage infrastructure, causing significant economic losses and diverting resources from developmental projects. According to the World Bank, Nigeria's infrastructural damage was estimated at $1.2 billion in 2023. Moreover, Nigeria's economy is heavily reliant on agriculture, which is highly vulnerable to climate impacts such as drought and flooding. A survey conducted by SBM Intel showed that about 79% of farmers are affected by the ravaging effects of drought and flooding in 2023. To add to my point, investing in climate change initiatives can create new job opportunities in renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and green technology sectors. As a matter of fact, on the 27th of May 2024, the German ambassador to Nigeria, Annette Gunter, claimed that renewable energy, one of the many climate change initiatives, can create over 112 million jobs by 2030. Furthermore, climate change initiatives encourage diversification of the economy away from fossil fuels and unsustainable practices, leading to a more resilient economic growth. Evidently, according to the World Economic Forum, green investments could increase Nigeria's GDP growth by 1.5% annually. Also, climate change increases the frequency and severity of natural disasters. Thus, prioritizing climate change initiatives enhances disaster resilience, protecting both people and economic assets. Similarly, Nigeria's natural landscapes and biodiversity are a valuable asset, and climate change threatens these assets, impacting tourism revenue. As a result, prioritizing climate change initiatives that preserve the environment can sustain and enhance tourism. So, at my point, climate change poses a fundamental threat to human life and ecosystems. Thus, prioritizing economic growth without addressing these threats can lead to catastrophic consequences that undermine all aspects of human well-being, including economic stability. Lastly, as global awareness of climate change increases, countries with strong climate policies can gain a competitive edge in international markets and attract investments. This implies that ignoring climate change initiatives can cause Nigerian economic disadvantages in the future. Thank you.
Right on time as well.
We'll now take a quick break. When we come back, I am struggling to catch my breath, and I didn't utter a word. I was like, okay, this is a debate sprint.
This is war.
All right. Right after this timeout, we'll go into the rebuttal round.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking for a place to get yourself local delicacies at a very, very affordable rate. And look no further than Olaiya. Yes, your number one plug for local meals and delicacies is here. You can find Olaiya Foods at any of these locations. Olaiya is located at number 64B Emma Abimbola Street, Fola Oshibo in Lekki Phase 1, Lagos. You could call that restaurant for delivery at 0811 143 4031. You could also get Olaiya Foods in Victoria Island at number 67 Kufu Abayomi Street, Victoria Island, Lagos. Call 0808 712 6281 for your deliveries. You could also find Olaiya Foods in Surulere at number 109 Akerele Street in Surulere, Lagos. Call 0704 810 1214 for your deliveries. Or you could go to Ikeja and get yourself some Olaiya food at number 25 Adeniyi Jones Street, Ikeja, Lagos. Call for delivery at 0816 244 9233. Don't forget, Olaiya Foods is your number one plug for local meals and delicacies.
Welcome back. It's a sprightly debate between 50-year-old Mary Uke Ashia and 15-year-old Adio Afolarin. Just a quick reminder, we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. You've got to refresh your feed. If you were following the earlier debate, if you're listening, go and refresh your feed. You would see both of them. Now, you can see their debate video would have come up, not the previous debate video, by the way. So, are we ready to go?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We are ready for the
Rebuttal.
next round, the rebuttal round. And for this round, we will revert to the motion opposer. The motion opposer is 15-year-old Adio Afolarin. You will now get 3 minutes to refute your opponent's points.
Okay, all political dealers. My name is Adio Afolarin. Strongly opposing motion states, should Nigeria prioritize economic growth over climate change initiatives? And here are my rebuttals. First, my opponent stated minimal carbon footprint. Yes, while Nigeria might contribute a low amount of global emissions, it suffers disproportionately from climate-related impacts such as droughts, flooding, and other extreme heat waves. According to the Global Climate Risk Index, Nigeria ranks as the 6th most climate-vulnerable country. Despite only contributing only 1% to global emissions, Nigeria suffers disproportionately from climate-related impacts. Therefore, prioritizing economic growth over climate change, just because of Nigeria contributes slowly, does not mean that it will actually protect Nigeria from the rising impacts such as floods and droughts. Also, my opponent stated sovereignty of Nigeria. Well, what was the point of the sovereignty if in the future Nigeria ends up to be a nation where there will be continuous destruction due to flooding and droughts? Sovereignty at the expense of the future of Nigeria's future generations and its people is nothing but sovereignty. It's simply foolishness. Furthermore, my opponent also stated that there's a right to development. Yes, climate change initiatives can also sustain this development. It can create job opportunities through renewable energy, through sustainable agriculture and green technology, and it can also increase revenue generation due to the fact that in 2022 renewable energy created over 100,000 jobs, thus in creating job opportunities while also addressing economic challenges and also climate-related challenges. My opponent also stated that Nigeria needs rapid gains in revenue generation. Well, actually, climate change can also help in rapid gains of revenue generation because it creates jobs and it also enhances the agricultural sector, because the agricultural sector is actually struggling the most from this climate change due to the flooding and the droughts. My opponent also stated economic stability. Yes, while economic growth can stabilize the economy, climate change only destabilizes this economy due to the agricultural sector's vulnerability to climate change. Yes, the agricultural sector contributes 25% to Nigeria's GDP and accounts for 70% of the labor force. Climate change can easily affect this agricultural sector, destabilizing Nigeria's economy in the process. My opponent also stated economic challenges. Well, economic challenges such as unemployment, revenue generation, tax paying can also be supported by climate change initiatives, which also accounts for the long-term sustainability of the economy. Then again, my opponent also stated comprehensive solution to this on these challenges of the economy. Well, I've already stated that climate change through revenue generation, job creation, and also another opportunities can also address this comprehensive solution, while also accounting for the long-term sustainability which Nigeria's current economy and also current methods do not account for. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Mary will now get 3 minutes to refute Adio Afolarin's points.
All protocols duly observed. The opposition fails to make a distinction between environmental problems and climate problems by mentioning problems like biodiversity, agriculture, flooding, drought, which are environmental problems but not climate change problems. Therefore, all points in which these things were mentioned are irrelevant in this debate. Next up, the problems mentioned by the opposition are not necessarily unique to Nigeria. Heat waves are not unique to Nigeria. And also the problem of drought, flooding, these are not problems of climate change, as I have stated, but problems of environmental problems and also problem of inaction on the part of the government. Also, climate change is reliant on a viable economy. Next up, stacking environmental realities against the threats of an economically failing nation. Is it when we get to the point of Zimbabwe in 2008, where over $10 million Zimbabwean dollars could be used to buy a loaf of bread, that we would admit that the situation is urgent? My opponent's point fails on the fallacy of appeal to emotion when he mentions the poor and minority groups. This is an appeal to emotion, but actually fails to provide any relevant evidence on why economic growth cannot also solve that same problem. He uses the wrong reasons to justify his conclusion. Also, on the point of health problems, it is an irrelevant premise, as the reasons mentioned can also be solved by economic growth, and therefore do not justify why we should prioritize climate change initiatives over economic growth. Also, my opponent's points on infrastructure, new job opportunities, and global new job opportunities fail on causal oversimplification, as they restrict it in the sense that they believe that climate change initiatives only will lead to development of infrastructure. Climate change initiatives only will create new job opportunities by completely ignoring the role of economic structures in place to ensure this effect. Also, my opponent also fails on the fallacy of secular reasoning by assuming that because climate change initiatives inherently is good, that would immediately lead to green investment, but has actually failed to consider the unique realities of a country like Nigeria, failing to consider our economic and social realities. He mentions the point of natural disasters fail because this is not a problem of climate change, as I have stated, but it is a problem of inaction on the part of government, and is therefore irrelevant to the topic being discussed today. Also, my opponent mentions global markets, that when Nigeria implements climate initiatives, that they are going to enter the global market, but that is actually a wrong analysis, because even if we are to implement economic growth, we will also enter the global market, and you fail to actually understand the significant barriers that Nigeria may face in going into the global market. On the basis of human life, you're giving us a fallacy of slippery slope, in the sense that you then assume that if we do not implement climate change policies, then we are saying that we want all Nigerians to die, which is not what we are saying. That is a causal oversimplification of the position of the government team in this particular debate. On your point of financial and biodiversity and agriculture, as I said, they fail because they fail to make a clear distinction between environmental problems and climate change problems, and problems that are not environmental problems problems that are environmental problems cannot be climate change problems. Thank you.
Right on time.
Thank you very much. You both played your parts in the rebuttals. We'll take another quick break. When we come back, it will be time for the closers between 15-year-old Adio Afolarin and, of course, 15-year-old Mary Ashia. Stay with us.
Obiwizi is Nigeria's pioneer e-commerce platform for pre-owned gadgets. They are Nigeria's home of gadgets with warranties, where you can purchase all your favorite devices and quality accessories, both brand new and pre-owned. You can also trade in your older devices for a newer model in a simple and convenient way. To crown it all, when you decide to sell off that device of yours to meet that important cash obligation, Obiwizi is your guy, literally your guy. With offline and pickup stores in Ikeja, Lekki, Abuja, and Benin, Obiwizi delivers nationwide. So make sure you are following Obiwizi on Instagram at Obiwizi Backup Page. Yes, that is on Instagram. You could send an email to the email address info@obiwizi.com, or go to the website at www.obiwizi.com. They're also on X at Obiwizi, literally Obiwizi. Obiwizi is spelled Obiwezi. Yes, Obiwizi. Follow them on all pages and, of course, all social media platforms, and get that device of your dreams.
Thanks to Obiwizi for the plugs, the gadget plugging they've done for us. Special thanks to Massive Streets Children's Hospital, our healthcare partner. Thanks also to Olaiya Foods and Catering, taking care of this kids' tummy health, as well as Biloxi. We appreciate all of that for providing those tasty snacks. Call to Fly. Thank you very much for transporting our kids here. Thanks to our institution, Chrisland Schools, accommodating these champions from out of state. And special thanks to you, Lecheho Microfinance Bank, for sponsoring and partnering with us for this event. It is time now for the closing arguments.
That's correct, Femi. It is time for these debaters to rest their argument. We will revert to the motion supporter, Mary Ashia. You'll now get 3 minutes to wrap up your case.
Astronomy's speech lies on representation. We show what happens if Nigeria fails to prioritize economic growth. First, regional economic disparities. The South, particularly Lagos, is far more developed than other regions, contributing 25% to Nigeria's GDP. The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) reports, while several states in the North is at less than 5% and remain underdeveloped. A targeted economic growth fosters more evenly distributed wealth. Also, currency instability and inflation control. The naira has depreciated sharply from 850 naira per dollar in 2014 to over 1,200 naira per dollar in 2024, with inflation driven by rising food and energy prices. While the CBN has taken steps to stabilize the naira, targeted economic growth helps to solve this problem. Next, high youth unemployment. Over 60% of Nigerians are under 25, with youth unemployment surpassing 50%, driving social unrest. NBS 2023. While the NYSC has provided some relief, substantial economic growth is needed to expand such a program, create jobs, and reduce unemployment. Moving on, boosting the informal economy. The informal sector making up 65% of GDP and employing 80% of the labor force, according to the International Labour Organization. Critical to the livelihood of many Nigerians, operates outside regulatory frameworks. Formalizing this sector promotes inclusive development. Furthermore, infrastructural deficit. Nigeria faces an annual $100 billion annual deficit, as reported by the African Development Bank, affecting all critical sectors of economic growth and survival. We know what would have happened if the Nigerian government had not invested in the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway or the Third Mainland Bridge due to environmental concerns. Moreover, focusing on economic growth addresses corruption and government issues. Imagine losing over $1 billion annually to corruption, according to the World Bank. Economic reforms reduces corruption, improves transparency, and enhances public trust. Next, Nigeria's security challenges impact on economy. Banditry, insurgency, disrupt economic activities. Nigeria ranks 6th on the Global Terrorism Index with over 2.5 million displaced. Strengthen security forces, technology and information collection. Rely on a growing economy. Next, energy access deficit. The World Bank reports that about 43% of Nigerians lack electricity. There is about 85 million people without power, the world's largest energy access deficit. But should we then discontinue projects like the Mambila hydroelectric power station that drive economic growth because of their relative environmental impact? Finally, public debt burden. As of first quarter 2024, Nigeria's public debt stands at 84 trillion naira, with 96% of 2023's revenue spent on debt servicing, according to the Nigeria's Debt Management Office. This leaves limited funds for critical expenditures, including climate change initiatives. We've shown including climate change initiatives. This debate is about Nigerians choosing between feeding and protecting their families or protecting the environment. We've proven that in order to protect the environment, we must first live and not just survive. Thank you.
Right on time. Well, Adio will now be extended the same courtesy. It is time to rest your case.
Prioritizing economic growth over climate change is akin to building a castle on quicksand. My original educators, my name is Adio Afolarin. Strongly opposing motion station. Nigeria prioritize economic growth over climate change initiatives, and here are my closing arguments. To begin with, climate change is exacerbating water scarcity, threatening drinking water supplies, and agricultural productivity. As a result, addressing it ensures sustainable water management. According to UNICEF, over 70 million people could face severe water shortages due to climate change by 2025. Secondly, as one toward low carbon economies, Nigeria could end up with stranded assets in fossil fuels. Therefore, any investment in green technologies can prevent economic losses. According to Carbon Tracker, Nigeria's fossil fuel assets face the risk of becoming stranded due to global shifts towards renewable energy, could impact on the $25 billion in oil and gas investments. Thirdly, climate change could force millions of people to migrate due to unsuitable conditions, causing demographic shifts, straining urban infrastructure, and destabilizing regions. According to environmental migration, over 2 million people were displaced due to climate-related impacts in 2023. Furthermore, climate change exacerbates resource scarcity, which can lead to conflict, social unrest, and political instability. This will distort economic growth far more than any proactive climate change initiatives. According to the World Bank, Furthermore, Lagos, Nigeria's economic center, is under threat from rising sea levels. Therefore, prioritizing climate change initiatives is crucial for protecting the economic powerhouse and preventing billions in losses. The advisor to the Lagos State Governor on climate change and circular economy, Cecilia Osho, they warned that Lagos State alone could suffer an estimated $22 to $25 billion in economic losses due to climate change effects on critical sectors such as agriculture and tourism. Moving on, climate change can lead to global market volatility, impacting all prices and other key commodities. According to the International Renewable Energy Agency, global oil demand may drop 75% by 2050, and Nigeria's economy, which is reliant on oil exploits. Adding to my point, climate change, the cost of inaction on climate change is far greater in the long run than the cost of implementing climate change initiatives today. According to the World Bank, climate inaction could cost Nigeria up to 20% of GDP, equivalent to a loss of over $460 billion. Moving on to my next point, climate change, extreme weather and changing climate disrupt food production, leads to higher food prices and increased food insecurity. According to the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, climate change could reduce Nigeria's crop yields by over 20%, leading to increased food prices and insecurity. On to my next point. Just as financial debt cripples economies, environmental degradation is a form of ecological bankruptcy. Each ton of carbon emitted and each forest cut down adds to a growing debt that Nigeria's future generations will be forced to repay, often at a much higher cost. Next, regarding climate change, is like challenging nature to a war, a battle we are destined to lose. Nature's response through droughts, extreme weathers, and floods will not only devastate lives, but will dismantle the very fabric of Nigeria's economy, leaving us at the mercy of forces beyond our control. Lastly, the true measure of leadership is the legacy it leaves behind. Pursuing economic growth at the expense of the environment is a hollow victory that leaves nothing but ruins for future generations. A true legacy is built on sustainability when Nigeria strives not just for today but for centuries to come, ensuring that our children inherit a nation that is both prosperous and sustainable. Thank you.
Right on time.
And so the debate ends. We just heard from Adio Afolarin, 15-year-old SS3 student of Ikorodu Senior High School in Lagos. And before him, you heard the closing argument of 15-year-old SS3 student of Wellspring College here in Lagos, Mary Uke Ashia. The judges have, their work cut out. I will hear from them. You also get an opportunity this hour to share your thoughts on this debate and perhaps the previous one. We couldn't take your comments because of time constraints during that debate. But also remember, the judges are not only scoring these debaters, they are also paying attention for the very sake of grading all three winners, the best debater of the day, first, second, and third. It will determine how they line up in the next round. Also, the judges will vote to keep one of the three losers in the contest. We've already had one winner and one loser in the first debate. We're about to find out the winner and loser of this second debate. Don't forget, there is a third debate coming up in the 5 o'clock hour.
That's right. Well, I'll have to say to both of you, Mary, I saw during your debate that you had to go, and I do not know what you did, but you definitely increased your speech pace, because I guess you studied your opponent and you found that this one is a more rapid speaker. I have to do something about that. And I noticed that Adio Afolarin went back and took the corrections that were made last week. Good, kudos to you. And I would also say that he studied your opponent and thought, I am coming up against Mary. I have to really, really sit up on this one. And we could tell from how you were able to, marshal out your points today. So well done to you. Just a few corrections from there. It is debt, not depth. Okay, it is debt. Okay, the B is silent in debt. It is debt, not depth. To you, Adio Afolarin. Again, you both should pay attention to subject-verb agreement. You kept making a few mistakes here and there in that regard. I do not want to go into the details of that, but you did make a few mistakes here and there. And it is relative, not relative, okay? Mary, it is relative, not relative. Relative. Oh, Mary, you said MW, but you did not tell us exactly what you meant by that. MW can mean many things. I'm sure you meant megawatts. What about the point on electricity, but you just wanted to say MW. How do you expect people listening to know what MW is? How do you expect them to know?
Oh, your research, you yourself didn't know what it meant. You just saw
maybe.
MW.
Perhaps she didn't.
It's like if they said KVA. What is KVA?
What are we supposed to do with that?
So, you say the Nigeria Info FM. What does FM mean?
So you have to, especially because you're talking to everyone, okay? There are people who do not even know much about the topic and who are learning for the first time from you, okay? So if you had gone on to say megawatt the first time and then gone on to say MW referring to megawatt again, that would have, but when you said MW, for a moment there I thought, wait a second, what is that? When I mentioned electricity, I caught on. We're referring to electricity. So please note that.
As an example, when you say Nigeria Info FM, the FM stands for frequency modulation. So you say Nigeria Info is so band on the frequency modulated band. So that's what FM means. Everybody knows. And I'm sure somebody's probably hearing that FM means frequency modulation for the first time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so always provide that education. Thank you.
And Adio, when you're talking about something from the past, the rule is the verb must also be in the past tense, okay? Except you want to refer to something in the present. Okay? You were referring to something. You drew up a from the past, and instead of following through in verb sense, in the sense of the verb, you came back to the present again. You use the present form of the verb, present tense, okay, which you shouldn't have done. And I made this correction to, I do not know if I made it to Ayomide last week, but you have to take note of that, okay? She said that she could go yesterday, not she said that she can go yesterday. Do you understand? I hope that's just an example of what I'm trying to say. This is Nigeria Info's I Beg to Differ national debate competition. This is the Tournament of Champions. Therefore, champions from other regions are here in the studio, live in the studio, debating for the grand prize, 2 million naira, and a host of other prizes.
I would like the Chief Judge to confirm to Yvonne or through the judges group that we had 3 judges apart from the diction judge for this occasion.
We have 4 judges.
I haven't seen
Judge Ama's.
I haven't seen Judge Ufoma's input yet. So
okay, they're still entering.
I guess we're still waiting.
Yes, we are.
So just to be sure, we'll wait. But please do confirm in the group. So let us be particularly sure. I would like to seize this opportunity to say thank you very much to all our partners and sponsors. Thank you very much to Let's Share Microfinance Bank. We appreciate it, and they are providing the prize money. Chrisland Schools, our host institution, we appreciate you. Olaya Foods and Catering for taking care of our kids, as well as Biloxi. We appreciate you. Call to Fly, they partnered with us to ensure that some of the students from out of town are here for this debate final. Obi Weezy, a long-standing partner, your plug for all kinds of gadgets. Name it, claim it. Massey Street Children's Hospital, our healthcare partner, ensuring that any health challenges witnessed during this debate is catered to. We're grateful to them. We had a bit of a scare in the first round when one of the kids had
motion sickness.
Yes. Initially, we weren't sure what it was, but it turned out that it was motion sickness. Getting here just in time, we've been fine so far. But just in case, we appreciate your assistance.
Yes, we may want to take a few reactions, messages before we go to the judges' scorecard. This message says, thank you, Oga Femi. I just learned this now. For more than 30 years. Now I'm 30 years old. Okay. Oh, you mean you're 30 years old now? Okay. So FM means, are you sure you learnt the right thing? Because even what you have here is incorrect.
Mutilated. Frequently mutilated. Because Chineke.
It is frequency modulation.
Frequency modulation. You modulate the frequency.
Good grief. Patrick Abel says these are big, large minds that we can't beat or fathom anytime. Okay, Patrick Abel, thank you so much for that. Oh, this one thinks Excel is a girl. Excel is a boy, sir. Let's see if we can take a few calls, say one or two. Hello?
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. Is that Mrs. Oboli?
Speaking, please. Good evening, Femi. Good evening, Madam Yvonne.
How are you doing?
Ma'am.
In fact, thank you for this frequency mutilated. They are the people that went to night school like us.
Oh, my goodness.
Even after the correction, they still did not get it. In a candle school, then go it as well. Then the MW, yes, many people don't know it. You see, that's why I said, whenever you talk on air, whenever these kids come on air, and you come to make those corrections, you are enlightening so many people, so many people. So I want to say thank you. I missed the woes that Nigeria is giving us now. Nigeria is the only one giving us joy. Mary Ashia, Tommy Bernard, and the rest of the crew that have. What's this boy's name just now?
Adio Afolarin.
Exactly, yeah, Adio Afolarin. Audibility is the only thing I just see, but then from last time to now, they've improved tremendously. So I can only say thank you. May the best man for this debate win. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mrs.
I've even
Oboli.
forgotten that there's spoil crisis out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
Thank
madam.
you.
We appreciate you. I must say, Yvonne, when Mary started, I've never seen her go at such frightening pace. I was like,
I was shocked. I thought, who is she? Who is this? Is this the Ashia we know?
You know, today was the first time I actually thought, again, for the first time, I thought, to be honest with you, I sat here through season 6. This was the first time I felt Mary was a bit vulnerable.
Yeah, and I felt, oh, Mary, what has got you in this? Oh, not Mary, but
yes, I have no clue.
Especially,
let's leave it.
Especially because Mary has been through these debates so far undefeated. Okay, undefeated. I do not know what happened.
And then it
today.
came to my mind that she must probably have prepared like 150,000 points to make, and she cannot wait to reel them out.
Especially because these Ikorodu boys, these Ikorodu boys come piling on points.
But it's interesting.
Truly interesting.
Truly interesting debate. Again, sometimes we have to restrain ourselves. Remember, I promised last week that I will restrain myself. Tunde will come for my head.
And I promised to Femi, you are the one doing this to me.
Sorry.
I'm
let's go back to the phone line.
Yes, let's do that.
Phone
please.
lines.
Let's do that. By the way, the results are in. You can also go on Facebook, on X and on YouTube to guess who will win this round, okay? And after the 5 o'clock debate, you will then guess whom you think the judges will vote to retain in the competition. Hello?
Anybody home?
Good afternoon.
Yes,
Hello,
please.
good
How
evening.
are you?
Good afternoon to everybody in the studio.
Welcome. Welcome.
You see, when I hear these children talk, it gives me so much hope, so much joy, so much happiness. For the sake of these ones, I will fight tooth and nail. Next time, when there is anything to make this country work, I will come out and fight for them. They are the future of this country, and we all must come together to fight for them. We got it wrong. We should not let them suffer our own mistakes. Please, I'm happy to hear them talk. They talk. They are talking. I'm happy. God bless you. God bless Yvonne. God bless everybody in the studio. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. Can we take one more? Okay, while we wait for all that.
Yes, I
beeping.
see a message here that says, good afternoon, Oga Femi and Yvonne. Is Yvonne a West African senior certificate? Oh, she's trying to ask if I was a WAEC English language examiner or an English language teacher before Nigeria Info.
Why do you think she has a job here? Well, I think, Yvonne, you say. You've had teaching experience.
And I also have grading experience. I have at one time, examined not WAEC now, but NECO, I have to say. So I do have a grasp of the rules of the language. I cannot say that I am 100% in control. Please do not think that for once. None of us here is in control of the language. The language itself is dynamic, as all languages
doesn't even
are.
respect The people who speak
nobody.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Yeah,
but
but
I do have that. I do have that experience.
When you've taught it,
Yes.
like I've done,
Exactly.
speech, enunciation, and we also know that sometimes we play it down just so that we can communicate.
Yes.
But when you are on radio, you are also a teacher.
Yes.
So we and talking about teaching, and just because we mentioned MW megawatts, what's KW, by the way, Mary? If you're kilowatt.
You
Beautiful.
get it. You get it.
How about KVA? Do you know?
Unlikely.
Okay. So kilowatt represents kilovolt amperes. Kilovolt amperes. You see, it's a measure of apparent power, what you see. It describes the total amount of power being used by a system. Now, this is not me being smart. The information I'm giving you, I just checked it up on Google. Of course, I always knew that it's kilovolt amperes. But the other information you need is that in a 100% efficient system, the kilowatt or the kW would equal the kVA precisely. The problem is, in reality, electrical systems are never 100% efficient. And so not all of the system's apparent power is being output. So, which is why you have those disparities. Normally, kilowatt should equal kilovolt amperes, but not, and that is why when you talk about generators, you talk about kVA and all of that. We'll come to that later. The results are in.
Absolutely.
I think we should go to the results now.
Femi, when we say this debate offers twists and turns, we really mean it when we say that.
Well, it sure does, doesn't it?
It does, for sure. Well, Nigeria, let us go straight to the results now.
All right. The judges have all sent in their results. And for this debate, we will give you the scores of every single judge. For the presentation rounds, on Judge Ama's scorecard, Mary, 20 marks. Adio, Afolarin, 19 marks.
On Judge Ufoma's scorecard, for rebuttals, for presentation, beg your pardon. For presentation, Mary is awarded 23.5 marks, and Adio is awarded 25 marks.
Pardon me, I guess I confused you a little bit. So let me finish with all the presentation round. So you already have where you know where we're going.
Yes.
So, let's do it like this. We'll come back to Judge Ufoma, but let's take Judge Ama first. So Judge Ama, presentation rounds, Mary 20, Adio, Afolarin 19. Rebuttal rounds, Mary 15, Adio 14. Closing rounds, Mary 19, Adio 18. For style, Mary 6, Adio 7.
And now to Judge Ufoma's scorecard. Mary is awarded 23.5 marks for presentation. Adio gets 25 marks for presentation on Judge Ufoma's scorecard. For rebuttal, 17 points to Mary, 16 points to Adio Afolarin, still on Judge Ufoma's scorecard. For closing, 23.5 points to Mary and 18.5 5 points to Adio Afolarin. And for style, Mary gets 7 points on Judge Ufoma's scorecard, while Afolarin gets 5.5 points.
Which takes me to Judge Elizabeth's scorecard. Presentation round. Mary, 15 points. Afolarin, 16.5. Rebuttal round. Mary, 5 points. Adio Afolarin, 12 points. Closing rounds. Mary, 9 points. Adio Afolarin, 14 points. For style, Mary, 5. Adio, 6.
And on the Chief Judge's scorecard, Mary, for presentation, is awarded 16.5 points, while Adio Afolarin is awarded 18 points. For rebuttal, Mary, 11 points, Adio, 12.5 points. For closing, Mary, 16 points, Adio Afolarin, 15 points. And for style, Mary, 7 points, and Adio Afolarin, 8 points.
I will now give you the total tally. Before that, I will factor in the diction infraction tally. A deduction of 3.5 points for Mary with love from Judge Yvonne, and a deduction of 3 points for Afolarin. It brings us to a total score thus. Presentation rounds, Mary 78.5. Oh, pardon me. Presentation round, Mary 75. Adio Afolarin 78.5. Rebuttal round, Mary 48. Adio 54.5. Closing rounds, Mary 67.5. Adio 65.5. For style, Mary 25. Adio 26.5. Total 225 against 215.5 for the winner, an automatic progressor to the quarterfinals. Congratulations, Adio Afolarin.
Adio cannot believe his ears. What an upset! This is the first time, and this reminds me of the debate involving Tanvita Kaushik, where she, for the first time, was bitten by Ramadan. This is the first time such an upset has happened in a long time.
I didn't see that coming.
Neither did I.
But I wasn't surprised. Remember, I said for the very first time,
debated.
I thought Mary was vulnerable.
I agree.
And I don't know what happened today, but it happened nonetheless.
It happened.
Congratulations to you, Adio Afolarin. I honestly didn't see this coming.
None of us saw this coming because
I wasn't happy with your last debate. And I could almost argue, I'm not sure I would have even given you the wild card. I know, what's the name of the other lady? Is it Delight?
Delight got a wild card, not Delight.
No,
I cannot remember the
lady on day one. It was a day of nerves and all of
yes,
that.
what's her name now? I still cannot remember.
Yeah, a day of nerves, and you came close to missing out on that wild card. In fact, I wasn't sure you'll be able to get another wild card today.
Honestly.
But you did the impossible. You stopped Mary.
Did the impossible.
So congratulations. You progress automatically.
And to Mary, this is not the end of the debate for you. This is not the end of your time in this competition.
Good God.
Okay.
I pray not.
We pray not because
But it's out of our hands
It is
now.
out of our hands, okay? The judges will vote after the 5 o'clock debate. The judges will vote to retain one person in the competition. If they were thoroughly impressed with you, you just may get the wild card. And for once in your life, be saved by the judges. You know. Well, I think we can take a few calls before we... What do you think, Femi?
No, I'm thinking, I'm asking, I'm looking at the guys from our traffic and control.
Okay.
We may need to take a break.
A quick break, okay.
It will be nice. Take a break and get ready for the final hour and the final debate.
God knows we could use that break as well.
Yes,
Femi. I am
we are going
sweating.
to say everybody stay put, nobody goes home, because big decisions coming in the final hour with regards to the top debaters after the
Including
final round
the
of
wild card.
debates and the wild card. That is the major thing. For now, we take a quick break. We'll be back.
Hotspot is a great way to help a friend in need. But wait, are you keeping your data safe? Here are smart
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.